What is up, everybody? I'm Joey Aloha and welcome back to the channel. To any new viewers, welcome to the channel and it's nice to meet you. So getting on into it, it's about time we figure out, we see what spirit or higher power or your ancestors or your spirit guides want you to know at this time for your own good. On that note, let's go ahead and get started, okay? Alright, you guys, we have 3 piles today. 1, 2, 3. So you can just pause the video if you would like. Concentrate on which pile you would like to select and we'll just go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and start with pile number 1 and we'll get that started. Okay, so on pile number 1, the cards that we have is Hidden Path, Power, Metal, Vulnerability, and then we have a message card that we will go over after we finish. Okay. So first off, what I'm going to do is I will read you what this card says, and then we'll just go from there, okay? Okay, Hidden Path. It says, marriage, the marriage of spirit and matter. You have traveled far in search of greater meaning and fulfillment, having made much progress in learning valuable lessons. You want to continue your journey, but the road seems to have come to an end. Where do you go from here? The symbolic imagery on this card is set within a magical forest. It seems inviting, yet the way forward is not clear. No physical path exists. However, there is a way forward. Between the trees is a symbol for eternal life, and to the right, a symbol for healing and protection. This card is inviting you to move forward spiritually and offers you healing and protection along the way. Spirit and matter must now merge if true progress is to be made. Your rational mind must align with your heart. When heart and mind are both focused on the same goal, great things are possible. This is true spiritual alchemy. All you work towards now can be achieved. Okay, that card is telling us that we need to merge our mind and our heart. We need to merge the spirit with the mind, right? Because sometimes in life, we choose to want to lead with our mind and we want to rationalize everything. We want everything to make sense in our mind. But when we're dealing with spiritual matters are above the mind, right? Because the mind itself is limited, but the heart is not limited. The heart is limitless. Spirit is limitless. So we need to merge the two so that they two can be in agreement. It's like the same like merging your feminine and your masculine qualities together. Instead of being so like too focused on either side, which will make you become or be out of balance. We want to merge the two together so that you can be as powerful. You can be balanced and at a powerful place. Okay, and you got the power card here also. And what that really says is that it's time for you to stand up and stand in your power. You may be afraid to express the power that you have inside of you, right? Or you may not even know that you possess this power. But it's time for you to wake up to the call that's being made. Wake up to the call and rise to the occasion. Step into your power. You have the power that you need to achieve this goal and to achieve what you need to achieve now. You just have to stand up and step into that power. You see, like she's blowing a horn. To me, that symbolizes, and you see all that dark clouds and stuff around her. So to me, that symbolizes confusion in the background, right? But now she's blowing that horn and it's waking you up spiritually. It's waking you up to your power. And you do have the power to unite your heart and your spirit. You do have the power, you do have the power to unite your heart and your mind. You have all the power. I know that it may not seem like that you have it right now. You may not feel that you have it right now, but you do. And I know that it may be scary to you try to unite both your mind and your heart, right? You might be the type of person who only deals with rational things, logical things, only deal with mind, only deal with what you can actually fathom in your mind, what you can actually make out in your mind, what you can actually dissect and decode in your mind. And you might not be the type of person who really relies on your heart. You may not rely on your intuition. You may not rely on your spiritual power or your spiritual side of yourself. You might not rely on that. But this is saying that that's what's needed at this time. You need to take that spiritual matter, your heart and your mind, and stop, leading with your mind, and marry the two together so that you can flow within the powers of both of them, so that you can step into your own personal power, because that's going to make you more powerful, and then you're able to accomplish more in life, And let's go ahead and check out this vulnerability, the metal vulnerability card. This card says, the metal in this card invites us in with its beauty and openness. The flowers have arranged themselves in a poetic design orchestrated by nature, and the lush rolling fields urge us to relax and stay for a while. Yet for some, the idea of being in such an open space is terrifying. And in an expansive meadow like this, we may feel exposed and defenseless, lacking the perceived safety of an enclosed area. For others, walking through a meadow can be an exquisitely satisfying experience. We can feel comfortable in the openness and visibility, enjoying the 360-degree view with nothing but the sky above. Yes, we may still feel vulnerable, but with a twist. This is vulnerability built on the foundation of trust rather than fear. The capacity to trust our own instincts to tell us if there are any potential threats we must respond to. By relying on this instinctual knowing, we can relax and enjoy the beauty that surrounds us. Now, this card is saying also, you are in a place now where you can take risks with your feelings. And even more important, take risks with the truth of who you are. The truth you know in your heart and soul. You no longer need to be subjected to your conditioned fears of letting others know who you really are. Yes, others may judge, evaluate, criticize, and perhaps even put you down. These are very real possibilities. Yet by trusting that you have the strength to deal with these reactions, rather than responding adaptively and always playing it safe, you can more confidently allow yourself to be vulnerable. Always holding back from expressing your truth can create an illusion of safety. But armed with your trust and your faith, you can choose to be vulnerable and share your authentic self with the world. So that is a beautiful thing. This card is also inviting you to be more authentic and be more of who you really are, who you've been afraid to show the world, and being safe and protected while doing that. This is walking in your truth, right? You might be the type of person who deep down inside you are one way, but you present yourself a different way because you may not be able to, because you may be living in fear of what other people might think. You may not want to be judged, you might be a spiritual person, right? And you may think people think you're crazy if you tap into that side of yourself. You may have been intuitive in your earlier years, and you may have been the type of person who have dreams, prophetic dreams, or you may be an empath where you can feel things, a number of things, and that might be shunned by the people around you. Maybe your family is not into that. Maybe they're a part of a religion that doesn't accept that type of stuff, you know? Maybe there's some other area or something else within you that you're not being true to at this time. And it's time for you to actually step into your power and stop holding yourself back and stop dumbing yourself down and stop hiding yourself because of other people or because of what they might say. It's time for you to step into your power. It's time for you to step into who you really are. To marry mind with your heart. Step into your power. Don't be afraid to pursue and to delve into that side that you have pushed down inside of you and you have hidden away from the world. It's time for you to share yourself with the world. You know, you've hidden long enough. Let's see what this message says here. It says, we can get it to focus. Okay, this card says, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. So this is also telling us too that your main focus right now should be your inner light. Should be your inner light. It should be your truth, right? Your truth that you've been hiding. And once you tap into that truth and you come into your full power, you will see the world through the lens of love. And you're not going to even be bothered about what other people think or what other people say. You're going to be so busy exploring and experiencing new things in life with people, having new connections with people, drawing new people into your life who are more aligned with who you have been hiding, with yourself that you've been hiding, you know? Like I said, you could be a spiritual type person, and it could be anything that is considered taboo within your, you know, within your society, within your family, anything like that you've been hiding. But once you step out of that comfort zone and you allow yourself to be vulnerable and you allow yourself to be you, who you are, then you are going to attract so much more abundance and happiness in your life. Because you're going to be powerful. You're going to be tapped into that power, your own self-power that's been smothered for so long, you know, that's been snuffed out practically. It is time for you to tap into that flame, to light that flame and go ahead and tap back into that energy, that power of who you are. It might be meant for you to lead and guide other people who've been experiencing the same thing, you know. It might be meant for you to meet with other people too, and for both of you to learn from each other, you know. So it's time for you to step into your power. You have so much power that you've been holding back on because of fear of what other people might think. Like, for instance, I come from a very religious family and they don't agree with my spirituality and maybe like my, you know, reading cards and stuff like that. But you know what? I have to be true to myself. At the end of the day, I have to do what resonates with me. You know, what allows me to tap into my personal power, because within that personal power, I'm ultimately helping other people, you know. Even with doing these videos, I could be helping somebody's could watch the video and could get a multitude of help. It could help heal them, you know. So what if I would have just said, well, no, I'm gonna just dumb myself down, I'm gonna smother my dreams or who I am and smother my light and not express myself in that way, and I could have missed out on helping somebody who needed my help or who needed to watch one of these videos and get some help from. It's time for you to step out of these clouds, right? And heed the call and step into your power and step into who you really are. I hope you'll answer the call. And if it resonated with you guys, let me know. I wish you guys all the best. And don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. Allow yourself to experience this experience in your life. Okay? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, if you selected pile number 2, this is your reading. You have attachment, meditation, lightning, power, and then we have a message card for you that we will read after we finish this here. So let's start off with attachment. Attachment, this card also says letting go, restriction, fear. So let's read what this card says, the message here. So with attachment, it says you believe that you are in a situation that you cannot free yourself from. Afraid to let go and walk away because of a deep sense of duty, commitment, or guilt. Perhaps you feel that you'll hurt or disappoint someone if you let go. Whatever the reason, you feel you have no choice but to stay where you are. The emotional attachment is great and the fear is overwhelming. The fact that you have picked this card today is no coincidence. The message is clear. You are being encouraged to face your fears. Do not listen to that fearful voice any longer. Beyond the fear is a space of love and light, which is guiding you and urging you to break free. Trust. Initially, there will be some upheaval, but eventually all will turn out well for all concerned. You owe it to yourself and others. You deserve to feel light and free. Summon the power of love within you and ask it to guide you and give you the strength to do what you know is right. This card is self-explanatory here. It just talks about you are attached to something, you are attached to someone, or you are attached to a situation. You could be attached to a way of thinking, a way of believing, a way of living. You could be attached. There is some attachment that is not serving your highest good at this time. There is something that you really need to let go. You might know you need to let go, and this attachment is actually restricting who you are, restricting what you could become, limiting what you could become. Limiting your progress, your process, limiting your progress in life, limiting your evolvement, limiting your growth, even. And this is an attachment based on fear of letting go. There's a fear of letting go. Okay, now let's check out the power, lightning power card. So with lightning power, this card says, we see power all around us. It's in the mountains, meadows, and clouds. In fact, in every expression of nature, yet there isn't a more dramatic display of nature's power than lightning. It electrifies and splits the atmosphere such that when the heated air comes rushing together, we hear thunder, the applause of the gods. Lightning sharpens our senses and triggers fear and awe. We see these forked beams of brilliant light jump from the sky, and our instinctual vigilance is triggered in anticipation of the roar that follows. We naturally seek shelter from the storm or are grateful that we are already being sheltered. This demonstration of power of creation is yet another way to remind us that we are not in control of the natural world. When we witness nature's power with open hearts and minds, we see that it is neither destructive nor constructive. It simply is. And the message on this card also says, the power available to you, the force of life itself, is neutral. It is neither inherently good or bad. It is how you utilize it that will determine whether it's ultimately harmful or life-giving and congruent with the will of spirit that pulses through you. What is required is awareness of your intention, your values, and your willingness to act on them under the particular circumstances of your inquiry. Although you may see yourself as using this power for good, do not allow yourself to get caught up in the duality of good or bad in determining your decision or actions. Through prayer or ceremony, and you can tap into this spiritual force. And by paying close attention to Spirit's prompting, your choice will ultimately be revealed to you, one that is beyond your typical perspective. From there, you can continue to access this divine power that is the very force driving this universe. Okay, right there is showing that you are afraid to step into your power. You, coupled with the other cards, you are playing it safe. It seems like you're playing it safe. You might be playing it safe, and you out of fear. You're afraid of this power. You may be afraid to step in that power out of guilt. You might be ashamed of having access to this power or being powerful. You might be ashamed of it. There might be some guilt, some deep seated limiting beliefs that might have gotten you to believe that being powerful is wrong, that being powerful is not a good thing. But it's the actual opposite, you know? You can use your power, like this card says. You have the choice and the option to use your power for good or bad. It's up to you. It's what you focus on. It's what your intentions are behind using the power. So by you using your personal power, if that intentions are good, if you use it for good and doing good things, then how can that be wrong? How can you be ashamed of using your personal power for good? Meditation also, it's what's gonna, and that's the same thing that this card said. This card says that prayer and, what else did it say? It said prayer or ceremony. But yeah, meditation will definitely help you at this time. Will help you connect to that power. And meditation will help ease your preconceived notions or ease this guilt that you might have with being powerful or walking in your own personal power. Meditation will help you understand it better. Meditation can help you realize that it is okay to be powerful. You can use your power for good. You can use your power to help yourself. You can use your power to help other people grow, expand, heal. Why not step into that power? Why just sit back and allow yourself to be attached to a situation that is restrictive? Allow yourself to stay in a situation that's restrictive and not allowing you to be who you really are, or step into your true power and your true potential because you're afraid. That fear is put there for a reason. A lot of times when we're meant for greatness, you will have so many roadblocks and so many obstacles in your way because it's known that you are meant for greatness. And those obstacles could be there also as a test to see, hey, do you really want this? Or are you really worthy of having this? And that's why that fear is there. Because if it wasn't anything, if it wasn't like nothing, if this power that you're meant to step into or that you could step into was nothing, then you would not fear. You wouldn't have any apprehension or fear about it. You wouldn't be restricted or anything like that, right? So that means that this is actually a blessing. Let's see what this message says. This message says, the moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. So as long as you focus on love, self-love, love for yourself, accepting yourself for who you are. Because once you have that self-love is going to come with self-acceptance. Accepting yourself for who you are. And then that way you can stand proud in your power. And you can let go of any restrictive situation. You can let go of any restrictive person. You can let go of any attachment that is holding you back and restricting you from walking in your power. And being the true person that you were meant to be. Being that powerful person. You'll be able to let all of that go because you will be able to identify that it does not serve your highest good. So the message here for you is to not be afraid to step into that power and to use any tools that you can use for you to get past this block that you have with this attachment, this fear, this restrictive state of being. Meditate, calm your mind so that you can see the truth. This is an illusion. This is not reality. And if you can calm your mind and center yourself, you'll be able to see through that illusion, and you'll be able to shatter that illusion and see the truth for what it really is. That you are a powerful person and you can make anything happen, right? You can make what you want to make happen. You can let go of things that you have that no longer serve you. You can let go of things that restrict you. You can let go of that fear and stand in your power. I wish you all the luck, and if this resonated with you, let me know. Let me know what's going on with your story, right? And I just wish you guys all the best when we move on to the next one. Alright, if you pick number 3, here is your reading. You got purification, water, serenity, DNA karma, dream time creation, and then we have a message card that we'll read after we go into the other cards. Let's start off with purification, water, and see what this is talking about here. Alright. This card is purification, water, and it says emotional cleansing, rejuvenation. Okay, so let's read this card and see what it's about here. Okay, it says this card signifies healing and rejuvenation, which comes as a result of emotional cleansing. In the coming days, you may experience some emotional turmoil. Deep feelings that you thought you had already dealt with or previously resolved resurface seemingly out of nowhere. Do not be concerned, for profound healing is taking place, and at the end of this process, you will feel all the better for it. The lady featured on this card emerges from the deep waters of her emotions into the light of new day. Emotionally cleansed and rejuvenated, she now is ready to move fully into her power, free of the emotional baggage she previously carried. So yes, this card is actually saying that you are currently in the process of purification. Your body, your spiritual body, also is in the process of a spiritual purification. And during this time of spiritual purification, there's going to be some old, deep wounds, deep-seated wounds or deep issues that may not have been resolved in the past, that are going to come up, that need to be resolved and need to be cleansed from your body, need to be cleansed from your spirit, your soul, and needs to be cleansed and released so that you can actually move forward in your life and you can move into a more serene place for yourself, right? For you, so that you don't have to deal with this baggage and things from the past, or things that you had no control over, you know, because sometimes when things happen to us, some of us can actually push them down, you know, and hide them away and tuck them away and don't deal with them, you know. That might be a way of dealing with them. We might push them aside and keep moving and living on with our life. But when you think about it, right, that thing that you pushed away, that little seed of an event, is kind of like cancer, right? That once you let it down, once you let that seed down, it's going to keep spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading, right? Until it eventually comes up and then you have to deal with it. You can't push it down and it's going to just stay lost and gone forever. That is not how it works. Eventually you're going to have to deal with it, and now is the time. So my advice to you is to not fight it and to actually deal with it so that you can actually work through it and you can actually fully be done with it finally, so that you can move on. Because a lot of times when we hold on to stuff, or when we have things deep that are buried deep into our subconscious, they still have an effect on us, whether we believe it or whether we know it or not. It still affects us. It still affects the way that we interact with other people, it affects our beliefs on life. It causes limitations on our lives, limitations on what we think is possible, limitations on our thinking and our beliefs. That's why you have to work through it, and you have to remove it from your life so that you cannot be blocked in any way, so that you can actually, continue moving forward and continue growing. Let's go on to DNA karma and see what this card is talking about here. Now, this card says, karma, a concept in many Eastern religions, is a Sanskrit word implying the greater universal laws of cause and effect, providing an implied code of ethics within the structure of the seemingly endless cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, which we experience throughout our lives in many different versions. The mistaken notion about karma is that it's some kind of punishment, but it's far from that. In fact, in its purest form, it simply asserts that our conduct in this lifetime will determine our next incarnation. It has also come to mean how our behavior and actions in this lifetime create consequences in a slightly different version of the golden rule. We do not carry our soul's karma into this lifetime, but also we not only carry our soul's karma into this lifetime, but also embedded in the complex coding of our DNA is our genetic ancestral karma. The double helix structure of DNA contains codes that have been passed down from our parents and grandparents, as well as our ancestors. Therefore, we have some of the same genetic information that comes from the DNA of very early humans. In this card, we see two intertwined serpents with double helixes on either side. Variations of this archetypal image exist in many cultures, both traditional and contemporary. It is a graphic representation of the most ancient ancestry we can lay claim to, our DNA, the fundamental substance of life itself that provides substantial determination of our life path. Okay, this card also says, aspects of your soul entered your primitive physical self long before you had begun to take form. While the DNA you inherited from your biological parents has a physical component, it also has a soul pattern that came together in the creation of you. You are predisposed to follow the karmic dictates of this patterning to some extent. Yet, as you evolve in your consciousness and expand the light of awareness, you can make choices that shift and modify this ancestral design. This is one of those times. You can feel the tug of your soul that is both ancient and karmic, yet you also recognize the persistent and loving communication from your higher self that contradicts the more familiar solutions before you. The choice is up to you, but know that every time you heed the guidance of your higher self, no matter what etheric or physical form it takes, human consciousness is elevated. In a sense, it becomes a choice between destiny and fate. Now, this card is telling me too, it goes in line with this purification, right? You might be dealing with deep karma, deep karmic energies and deep karmic DNA or deep karmic situations from your ancestors as well. Because you know that we inherit from our ancestors, right? We inherit many things from our ancestors. We not only inherit our features, our characteristics, etc., etc. We also can inherit karma as well. We also can inherit curses and stuff like that as well, generational curses. I'm sure that you've heard of something like that. So this is saying that now you have the option and you have the ability to work some of that karmic DNA out of that ancestral DNA as well, your own also, and also your deep ancestral DNA. You have the opportunity now to work that out so that you can be in a more serene place and you can help take care of some of that karmic debt and that karmic DNA that is being inherited from your ancestors to you, and then from you into your offspring. You can also cancel some of that and work some of that out so that things can be easier for your offspring and for the people who are to come after you, you know. And I think that's very, 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 very important, and is a very noble thing to actually be able to do. Okay, you also got dream time, creation. Now let's see what that is talking about. It says, for the Aborigines of Australia, the dream time is a place before time and outside of time in which ancestral spirit beings came to earth and gave all of its life form. Once the work was done, these spirits remained in the very forms they created, including the animals, hills, stars, and other features of the land, and continue to be present today. The dream time is an individual's or group's spiritual template, including songs and stories that have been handed down for at least 60,000 years. Although Aborigines would say that they've existed since the beginning of time. In one such tradition, there is a creation story involving the didgeridoo, which is essentially a hollowed out log that emits a droning sound when played. In this card, we see that a spirit man as a spirit man plays a didgeridoo, the world is sung into existence. Note the various beings and colors and structures of the land that are being created, all carrying spirit that has been breathed into them. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, we have people, we have animals. He's giving birth to people, animals, planets, everything. If you can make that out on this card. Yeah. So this card says to close your eyes, tune into your breathing, and allow yourself to sink deeply into the heart of the living creation that you are. As you notice your breath becoming steady and slightly deeper than usual, observe the urge within you that is begging to come forth in some creative action. Pay attention to any images, sounds, or feelings that beckon your awareness, and there you will find the key as to the manner in which to express this magnificent pulse. Your breath is a crossover between spirit and physical reality. Breathing comfortably and steadily helps you align yourself with spirit, which then brings a clear focus on what creative expression is preparing to be birthed through and from you. Discard any habitual thought patterns that will prevent the manifestation of what you are being prompted to bring forth. Allow yourself to take risks with this self-expression, and all of creation will smile upon you. You have the power right now to make changes for yourself and your family. That's very powerful. Now the question is, are you gonna step into this power and create a new legacy for your family, for the people who are to come after you? You have that power to create that legacy. You have that power to clear some of your old karmic debt or karmic, I'm gonna even go and say karmic junk, right? You have the opportunity to clear some of that, and you have the opportunity to create new karma, like good karma for yourself and for those who come after you. Let's see what your message card says. It says, my outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. My outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. So it is all within you. You have the power to change. You have the power to shape your own reality and make a more serene reality for yourself and those to come after you. More than this probably has been. You have that power, and that's what Spirit wants you to know. Wants you to know right now you're going through that process, and for you to allow it to happen, and for you to work with it. For you to work with it so you can work through that karmic, that karma that has been passed down to you, that may have been passed to you from your ancestors, and for you to finally work some of that out, so that you can free up that karmic debt load that you pass on to other people and that you experience also in this life. Alright, so I wish you all the best, and hopefully this resonates with you, and if it does, let me know. And I wish you all the best, and I wish everyone a blessed day, and thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more, and you guys have a good one. Ciao.